Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm David from the north of England, and as the channel name might suggest, I'm 40 and just starting my investment journey. It's actually my very first video, and today I'll be kicking things off with a new portfolio series. Each month I'll share an update of everything within my Trading 212 ISA and how things are going. Now, I'll be honest, I never really planned on starting a YouTube channel. My original idea was just to record portfolio updates for myself so that I could look back at them later and check on my progress really. But I've been enjoying so many other people's investing videos that I thought, if I'm recording them anyway, why not put a little bit of extra effort in and share my journey as well. Before we dive into Trading 212, let me quickly explain my approach and the circumstances because I believe that will put my portfolio into a little bit of context. I started this account with £3,000 from my savings, and for the next 6 to 7 months I won't be adding any big amounts, just £100 a month. The main reason for this is that I'm prioritising my lifetime ISA, as the 25% government bonus I think is more beneficial, and I do only have 10 years left of being able to pay into that, and so that's where my main focus is right now. I may cover that in future videos once there's a bit more to update on, as currently there's not really much going on in there. Because the contributions here are fairly small, I've decided to put a larger part of my portfolio into dividend ETFs and a few dividend single stocks. The idea is that the regular dividends can help top up the account as it grows, while I can't give it my full attention. That's the plan anyway, so let's jump into Trading 212 and take a look at where I'm starting from. I think most people understand this. This is not financial advice. This is just a random northern lad showing what he's doing, and I'm by no measure a professional when it comes to all of this. Okay, so looking in Trading 212, you can see that I am currently up by £9.46, which is 0.6% rate of return, which doesn't sound particularly good, but the last couple of days this week almost everything has dropped, as I'm sure everybody will have seen, which is a contrast to the previous week where on the Friday everything went green and I went up to £50 return. But as we're in this for the long term, a few up and down in a month aren't a major thing to me. So my main two items in my portfolio are the Invesco FTSE All World and the Vanguard S&P 500. So the Invesco, you can see that I've got 104 shares and my average price is 579.6. So that's been sort of all over the place a little bit this month, but the vast majority of it I've obviously bought in the final part of the month after I'd had a bit of a tidy up of my portfolio. The Vanguard, we can see that I have 6.6 shares and my average price has been 91. So again, that's also dropped in the last couple of days. Some of these, I think both of these dropped at 9 o'clock in the morning after I'd had a automatic buy, which obviously bought it at 8:30 in the morning. But that is how it goes. And then as we move on, these are some of my more income based. So JP Morgan, the Global Growth Income, I've got 63 shares in that, a total of £359 and an average of 573.4. I really like this one. I've seen a few other people that have a large amount in this as well. I think it's just really good. I think it's quite similar to the two ETFs that I've already covered. My next one here is the Morningstar Developed Markets Dividend Leaders. Now, I've not seen this as much in other people's videos or anything like that, but it is something I've come across that I just really liked, and I've got 6.3 shares in there, average price of 38. I did originally have this one in dollars, I think because I came across it originally and I hadn't realised, being a bit of a newbie at this, I hadn't realised that you could just buy the same thing but in pound sterling. So I have at some point in this month swapped to this one. Then my last two ETFs are the iShares Euro, where we have 7.7 shares and a 1975.4 average price. Again, you know, these ones are quite solid. I'm sure many people will have come across these. As I said in the intro, I'm kind of looking for the this yield basically. Also, because between the two of them, they cover Europe and they cover the UK. And the Morningstar one, a lot of that is, a high percentage of that is obviously US stocks. So the UK, we have 17.5 shares. We've got an average of 873. So again, I think these ones are quite solid, and this is the main bulk of my dividend income. Then we've got a few other ones. We've got Microsoft, where we have 0.28 shares. We've got Alphabet, where we have 0.26 shares. And then we have Meta, where we have 0.17 shares. Now these three are kind of going to make up 10% of my portfolio. They are currently my dividend growth, or my growth stocks that also pay dividends, if that makes any sense, which is going to make up about 10%. Now there may be some other companies that get added into here as I learn more or become more confident, but as it stands, these are the ones in there. Then we'll move on to Beach Properties. It's just another solid one. It's got some great yield. It's obviously, because it's realty income, it's just diversifying me a little bit more, and I have 3.07 shares at an average of $33.55. Then we've got Lloyds Banking Group. I've got 95.62 shares in there at 82 pence 0.6. Yeah, so that's sort of been coming down quite a bit recently. As you can see, I'm actually £2.94 down, but I think Lloyds is a solid bank. I quite like the fact that the shares are obviously quite cheap, which means it's got the potential that throughout the month, before I am paying any more for my wages into here, there's a chance that I could use any dividends that I get to potentially buy something in something like Lloyds to help build that up a bit. Next we've got Rio Tinto. So we've got 1.62 shares in there. This is another one that I really like. It's quite low for the last year, but its dividend yield is also really good. The next one we've got is Shell, where we've got 2.76 shares and an average price of 2.715. Again, it's just been solid. It's been up and down in the last month, but it's just another solid one, and a pretty good dividend yield. Next we have Taylor Wimpey. Now obviously this has been sort of coming down quite a lot recently. I know some other people have made videos about it. It's kind of been on my watch list for a couple of weeks or so, and you can see the average price I've got, I bought into it on Friday. So there's not been a great deal of movement or anything on that yet, but I do have 78.51 shares, and it's just another great dividend yield that I'm just going to hold for the long term. Next one is B&M. So this is a company that I feel like I know quite well. Some of the other ones, I don't know as much about, but I know quite a lot about B&M. Obviously, we can see that it's trading really low, and I just felt it was absolutely great value. 31 shares at 2.42 average, which I think is great. It's still got, well, obviously the dividend yield looks crazy here because of how low the share price has got. But yeah, I think it's one to hold that will potentially at some point get me either a load of value as it goes back up and I can potentially sell it, or it's just going to give me a really good yield on cost effectively if I hold it going forwards. Next one I've got is Legal & General. Obviously this is massive. Everybody's videos that I seem to watch all seem to have Legal & General. I have a number of policies myself with them. So yeah, 30 shares in there at a 253.3. So obviously in the last month it's sort of shot down in the last few days. Prior to that it was doing pretty well for me, and it's got a great dividend yield. Next, and the last one, I think, the last one is Domino's Pizza. Now obviously in the last few months, probably 3 months is it? yeah, it's taken a big plummet down, and there's nothing when you look at the financials I think that is massively worrying to me. It's, you know, I'm looking at it thinking that maybe it's just really undervalued. So I've bought into there. It's obviously still dropped since I bought into it, but the average price line is, you know, it's right down here. So this is one where I've got 37.92 shares at a 204.7 average price. So this is another one a little bit like BNM, I think, where if it starts to get some growth and I'm starting to look like I'm getting some good returns on selling it, I may sell it. But even if I don't, or it doesn't go high enough for me to want to cash that in, it's still going to give me really good yield for the cost that it's cost me, if that makes sense. These are just the pies that I've got created so I can do the automatic things, and then we'll have a look. So you can see here, this is why there's a lot of red in my portfolio. But we'll have a quick look in here, and these are my sort of weightings. So the two big ETFs I'm trying to keep at 20%, JP Morgan is 12%, and then a couple of 5%, and then the vast majority of the rest of the stocks, barring these three growth ones, which like I said before, I'm trying to keep at 10%, so they're slightly higher. Everything else I'm sort of aiming for like a 2.5%. And the main splits of the portfolio is 40% on the growth ETFs, 20% on dividend stocks, 10% on growth stocks, and 30% on the dividend ETFs. So that's the portfolio anyway. Obviously, that's a great deal of growth. It is my first month of investing. I'm just going to quickly swap over Snowball and give you a bit of a rundown from there. Okay, so this is my dashboard on Snowball Analytics. It's a great site. I highly recommend it. It tells you information that normally I don't think I would know or would take me a lot more time to work out. And I can see here it shows me a bit of a breakdown of the different things in there. And if I scroll down here, it will show me my future payments, what I can expect, and you can go into the calendar and see exactly what days things are happening. I've got some current events that are going on. So we'll quickly have a look at my diversification. Now, quite a few of the things that I've picked are quite purposely diverse, so that explains why this looks pretty good. I'm sure that there's an even more balanced way I could do it, but I've gone for what I've gone for. Financials and funds are the vast majority of it, and we've gone for obviously an all-world fund in there to try and mitigate some of that. And if we go over to the dividends, we can see what I'm sort of expecting from each of them, and we can see that we've got a £82.96 annually, which is £6.91 on obviously on average throughout the month. So I'm really quite happy with that. I'm sure if I was to put everything into dividends, that could be a lot higher, but I obviously still want some growth in there. I still have quite a number of years of this journey, even though I'm obviously starting at 40. So yeah, that's a bit of a look at that. Well, that's the end of this video, guys. I hope it's been useful, or it's at least entertained if you're bored when you started watching. But if you like the video, obviously drop a little like or a comment or any of those cool things, and hopefully I will catch you next time.